How you can outsmart the market. If you are an informed investor, you must know by now that 90% of the investment funds out there does not beat the market. Unfortunately, many of these fund managers are killing themselves and are actually struggling to beat index funds which are managed by algorithms. However, you can find excellent opportunities not utilized by others all the time, especially when you have low amount of capital. All you have to do is to keep searching and waiting. The long-term returns from this kind of operation are excellent and makes it well worth it. For a more in-depth study on this topic, I highly recommend One Up on Wall Street by Peter Lynch. First thing first, attempting to trade actively to beat the market would be a more time-consuming project compared to passively investing in an index fund like the S&P 500. So if you are prepared to make the sacrifices and put in the effort necessary, here is how you can start on this endeavor. Lesson 1. You can outsmart the market. Even though 90% of the funds out there underperform compared to the market, you can do better if you are willing to do the work. Yes, you can't possibly calculate what a stock of Google is truly worth. In fact, the analysts who are estimating this are just killing themselves. What you can do is to take note of what goes on around you and see if you can detect high growth. For example, there's a type of stream that is gaining popularity around the world, which is called Vietnamese stream, which is also called White Lake stream, and it has been introduced in India by this company called Avanti Feeds. The big investors will probably not take note since the company is worth just 80 million. But for small investors like you and me, it can be a worthwhile investment. The stock gave 15x returns in the last 3 years. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's business partner, once said that if you live in a small town, there are only 4 businesses that you need to own if you want a strong portfolio. The 4 assets are the best apartment building in town, the highest quality office building in town, the McDonald's franchise in town, and the car dealership in town. So you own where people sleep, work, eat, and how they travel between these places. If you own this collection of assets, even though they are all geographically concentrated, you will do very well with only these 4 stocks in your portfolio. You will not need to do much else beyond this to have a successful investing career. This proves that you can still find valuable gems in small markets. In his book, Peter Lynch gave an example of a car mechanic and his friend who noticed a company hiring a lot of people for a higher pay in his town. Both went to work for this company, but the first also invested his paycheck on buying the company's stock. Guess who got richer in the end? Warren Buffett set up vending machines early on after figuring out that they can double the invested capital every 3 months. He can no longer do that since he has a portfolio of billions of dollars, and that will amount to too many vending machines the market can handle. You and I can't do that either, since $20,000 a year buys way too many vending machines and it is too much work to maintain. But it is important to note that smaller capital can be compounded at a much faster rate. Having smaller capital can be your advantage. Some hedge fund owners outsmart the market consistently, and you can just follow them for free. The easiest way to get started investing is to just mirror the traits of some smart long-term investors that you respect, but you think are still underrated. As the cliche goes, follow the smart money. Here are 3 easy ways to clone the investment strategies of people smarter than you. Number 1, just buy an index fund. Index fund beats at least 80% of active managed funds. So straight away you are better than 80% of the funds out there. Number 2, buy Berkshire Hathaway stock, which historically beat index funds by 5 to 7%. For those of you who don't know, Berkshire Hathaway is Warren Buffett's investment firm. Number 3, copy Buffett's investment strategy. 2 professors at the University of Nevada did a study titled "Imitation is the Sincerest Form of Flattery." They investigated how would your investments perform if you just simply followed and copied Warren Buffett investment choices. So let's say you bought what Buffett bought after it was announced public at the highest price possible, because the price of the stock appreciates after other investors also start buying as well. on the last day of the same month because you procrastinated or because you are a horrible copycat. And then you sell the stock when Buffett is selling. But again, you sell at the lowest price possible on the last day of the month. So you buy at the most expensive price possible and then you sell at the lowest price possible because you simply screwed up. So what these two professors found is that even if you horribly copied Buffett's investment strategy for 30 straight years, your portfolio will still outperform the S&P 500 by 11%. Let that sink in for a moment. So if you're wondering, how the hell am I going to know what is Buffett investing in? Good news, because according to the Securities and Exchange Act of 1934 in America, all institutional investment managers who handle more than 100 million are required to file their holdings every quarter. This means that if you know where to look, you can have access to some of the best managed portfolio in the world for free. One of the easiest way to do this is to head over to SEC's Electronic Data Gathering Analysis and Retrieval site and do a search under the company's name. But what if you don't have the capital to buy what Buffett is buying? If he buys a stock and the news goes out, the stock goes up immediately. Or maybe you don't have enough capital to keep the brokerage fees low. There are lots of other good managers out there who are doing well but don't have the same following as Buffett. As always, the difficulty is not in just figuring out who would do well, but also figuring out if he is underrated. In other words, doesn't have tribes of investors copying his investments. It is not as hard as it looks. Monish Pabrai of Pabrai Investment Funds is one of these smart, underrated investors. Tracking portfolio at this website here is another super small but intelligent investor worth checking out. Lesson number 3. Diversification is for people who don't know what they are doing. Just ask any billionaire if they got where they are now by diversifying. As Warren Buffett once said, keep all your eggs in one basket, but watch that basket closely. Warren Buffett has often said that I could improve your ultimate financial welfare by giving you a ticket with only 20 slots in it so that you had 20 punches, representing all the investments that you got to make in a lifetime. And once you had punched through the card, you couldn't make any more investments at all. Under those rules, you would really think carefully about what you did and you would be forced to load up on what you had really thought about, so you'll do so much better. Why? Too often investors throw money around like scattering seeds, saying to themselves, I'll throw a little here and a little there to see what happens. Instead, Buffett advocates a policy of finding the best and richest soil, planting substantial amount of seed in it and protecting it. If you make every investment decision as if you're going to buy the whole company, would you make very different investment decisions compared to what you're doing now? This policy may sound simple, and it really is, but it also can be life-changing. Lou Simpson, one of the best investors in the world and head of GICO's equity portfolio, once said that this particular Buffett strategy helped him enormously in his record of crushing the market over several decades. If you rank your best investment ideas and kill the lower grade ones in terms of risk return and certainty, you are inevitably going to improve your performance. One of Joe Greenbelt's studies found that adding more than 6 to 8 stocks to your portfolio has little impact in reducing portfolio volatility. So at the end of the day, you are much better off with smaller number of stocks that you can actually understand. So the $1 million question is, what is the optimal investment strategy for your specific financial goals? Do you want to find out? So here is some great news. I've set aside some time for my office to personally review your current investment strategy and process and design a fully customized dynamic asset allocation plan for you, free. This is a genuine free offer and there are no strings attached. In fact, it's even better than you realize. Not only do we design the whole asset allocation plan for you, we also create a detailed investing blueprint of exactly how it works and give you that as well. You will have a step-by-step investing strategy so you can deploy it immediately. This way, you can start investing confidently and grow your capital regardless of market trends and conditions without spending 8 hours a day to monitor stock prices like it is your second full-time job. If this sounds interesting to you, here's how we'll do it. There are 2 things we do on our strategy session together. First, we shut up and listen to you. We find out exactly what your challenges are, what your financial goals are, and what you want to accomplish. And then we design a custom asset allocation strategy to get you there. We do this by reviewing your current investments, analyzing your current assets and portfolios, and mapping out market projections of suitable investment instruments. We use everything we have learned about you to design a custom asset allocation plan specific to your financial goals based on our trademark wealth management formula, the Financial Fortress we initially reserved only for our high net worth clients. More about our trademark wealth framework in a minute. But first, basically, we are getting a snapshot of where you are and where you want to be. Next, we start to build the plan to get you there. And that's where the blueprint process comes in. I'll give you a complete custom investment blueprint showing exactly how your new asset allocation plan works. We'll prescribe a unique investing process and map it out for you based on your current investment portfolio and goals. There's no such thing as a one-size-fits-all asset allocation strategy, and anyone who tells you otherwise is delusional. That's why we create a custom blueprint based on your specific needs and goals. Many financial consultants out there have their own way of crafting asset allocation plans. Some use a copy and paste template, some use a formula taught in some old outdated textbook. But this is an important step as part of your overall investment strategy that unfortunately many novice investors overlook. If done right, this is the leading domino that sets your investments in place that pulls you closer towards your financial goals and dreams, like a homing missile locked onto a target. If done wrong, it becomes a leaky bucket with holes at the bottom, quietly siphoning your hard-earned money into the wrong hands. This is why every single blueprint we build is unique and different, and the reason we build them like this is because we understand that your needs are unique and different. It is important to build a campaign that is customized and specific to the exact functions and needs of every client individually. And that is why we set aside some time to do for you for free. So you're probably wondering, why are we doing this? In the interest of full and complete transparency, this is how we get clients. It's simple. We know that a certain percentage of people we do this for will want us to build and grow their investment assets for them. But rather than try to convince you of how great that will be, we figured that we would just demonstrate that we can help you by actually helping you for free and let the value of the experience do the selling for us. But rest assured that even though this is a free service, you will still receive an exclusive insider investing plan tailored for you based on our trademarked wealth accumulation framework. And we are simply absorbing the cost to provide this valuable strategy session to genuinely help you out of goodwill. And there is absolutely no pressure and no obligation to become a client. In fact, I believe that once we do this for you, one of these 3 things will happen. The first possibility is you think that the blueprint is no good and that I have wasted your time. This has literally never happened. But in the event you feel your time was wasted, I'll immediately send you $100 as compensation for the hour or so we spent together. The second possibility is you love the investment blueprint. You immediately see the power and potential it has for your financial life, and you decide you want to build the system yourself. If that's the case, great. I'm happy that we could help you, and I wish you the best of luck. The third possibility is you love the blueprint so much and you'll want my office to actually build out the entire system for you. If that's the case, we will get to work immediately, and here is what happens when we decide to work together. We get started on implementing your personalized investment blueprint. We make sure that we maximize the power of every single dollar in your portfolio and find the right balance for you between maximizing returns and protecting your capital. This will be done as part of our prestigious Virtus Wealth Coaching Program. This coaching program has 4 main modules. Module 1, Diagnostic Evaluation and Assessment. Here, we take a deep dive into your current psychology and mindset around money and your financial habits. We map out a simulated projection of your current game plan and let you take a sneak peek into the future. We'll be able to tell you, so if you continue doing whatever you're doing right now, 30 years later you will only have X amount in cash and Y amount in assets. Would you be able to retire based on these numbers? Are you satisfied with these numbers? This is to give you a realistic outlook of your own life so that we can build an accurate, better plan to conquer your financial goals and dreams in the later modules. You see, I personally know of many six-figure income earners who are still poor. Even though they're earning a lot of money, they spend a lot of money too. So they are still living paycheck to paycheck. They are stuck in their jobs and are unable to truly experience financial freedom. This module is to make sure that you are way ahead of the pack and learn the mindset of the top 5%. Module 2, the Financial Launchpad. This is where you will finally become an insider about how wealth works. This is a Mythbusters section where we tackle the common misconceptions and misunderstandings 95% of us have about money and wealth. This is how the rich gets richer and the poor gets poorer. You will also discover the common mistakes and pitfalls many individuals make that stopped them from becoming rich. Lastly, we'll review our trademarked wealth building formula, the Financial Fortress. This formula is created by our founder and alone is responsible for millions of dollars in our clients' portfolios. This is where you'll learn the wealth secrets of the top 5%. This is wealth accumulation on steroids. Module 3, Building Your Financial Fortress. This is where we will build a robust and strong portfolio to achieve and protect your financial goals. With this intense upgrade of financial knowledge, it can be easy to feel overwhelmed. In this module, we will guide you step by step. In fact, we will even implement our Financial Fortress formula for you. And then some people may wonder, then why don't you just do this in the first place without teaching me anything? We believe in financial ownership and responsibility. And we found out by working with our clients that if you know the magic behind our wealth management strategy, you are more likely to let us do our job and grow your assets for you. Module 4, Milestone Crushing, Optimization and Acceleration. This is the ongoing growing of your portfolio. We'll do the heavy lifting and just keep you updated periodically. If you wish, we'll teach you the ropes and coach you along if you are the more proactive type who wants to learn how to manage your own portfolio in the future. We make sure that we achieve your financial milestones and goals because sometimes your priorities can change as your life circumstances change. Maybe you want to raise capital to build a side business, or you want to send your children overseas for education. We will adjust and pivot your portfolio accordingly. This is where your dynamic asset allocation strategy will really shine. Our priority is to make your life easy and fulfill your life dreams and goals, whatever they are. Anyway, as you can imagine, in this current volatile economic climate, there is a huge demand for this type of premium service and financial freedom assurance. And my team and I will hit our capacity very quickly. However, this is not what you might be thinking. If you are skeptical and you are wondering if this is some kind of sales pitch in disguise, that is understandable. The good news is it's not. In fact, it's quite the opposite. This is a genuine free service. The plan is to wow you and give you a snapshot of the amazing experience you will have when you join our wealth coaching program. Like I said, if at the end of our session, after we build your custom investment blueprint, you tell me that we wasted your time, I will pay you $100 immediately as compensation, no strings attached. The catch we have been looking for, there are actually two. First, we are unable to extend this offer to just anybody. In order for my team to do this free but valuable work for you, you need to meet some strict but reasonable criteria. Here it is. Number 1, you must be willing to invest. I know I am stating the obvious, but you will be surprised how many people I have met that are not actually willing to invest. Number 2, you must have capital to invest, either at least $5,000 lump sum or at least $300 per month of capital for ongoing investments, because you actually need to have capital available. Otherwise, there's no point in building your dynamic asset allocation plan. That's it. As long as you are legitimate and motivated to achieve your financial goals, I'll be delighted to help you for free. And if you get value out of the help I provide and want to become a client, that's great. The second is this is very time sensitive for a reason. We are a small company by design and can only offer a handful of these free blueprinting sessions each month. They are all granted on a first come first served basis. So if you can see how your personal tailor-made asset allocation plan will help you achieve your financial goals, book a blueprint session with us ASAP. We have set aside some time to design a fully customized investment campaign for you using the exact methods I described in this video. If that sounds like something that could help you, here's what to do next. The way it works is simple. To schedule a custom investment blueprint session with my office, we'll need to collect a $50 real person deposit. Don't worry, I'm not in it for your deposit. In fact, it is refundable under every circumstances known to man. If you simply ask for it at any point in time, you will get it back. And I will also automatically refund you your full deposit at the end of our session together. I'm just collecting it as a filter to keep time wasters at bay, and I will automatically refund your full deposit at the end of our session together or any time else when you ask for it. This is because it takes a lot of work to architect the whole blueprint for somebody. It is a full-fledged investment blueprint that will show you how to grow your assets so you can achieve your financial goals. And like I mentioned, if you think we have wasted your time, I'll give you double the deposit back. I do want your $50. I think you get the point. Anyway, here is what happens after that. You'll be taken to a quick little questionnaire that helps us get prepared to help you when we talk. Don't worry, it's nothing intrusive or complex. It takes about 30 seconds to fill out. Just a little bit of info on your current investments or how you want your investments to work. This information helps us start working on ideas before we talk, so that as soon as we meet, we can hit the ground running and make progress immediately. Then we schedule a time to go over your asset allocation plan and create your investment blueprint for free. My office will call you and get you scheduled as soon as possible, typically no more than a day or two from when we first hear from you. Don't worry, you are not going to hear from telemarketers or slick salespeople or anything like that. Our entire focus is to give you the best custom dynamic asset allocation plan possible for free and let the experience speak for itself. And after we talk, one of these three things will happen. The first possibility is you love the blueprint and your dynamic asset allocation plan, and you immediately see the power and potential it has for your financial goals, and you decide that you want to implement it yourself. The next possibility is you love the blueprint and you want us to build your investment campaign for you and implement everything in your blueprint. If that's the case, we will get started immediately. The third scenario has never actually happened. That's where you will tell us we wasted our time and your blueprint was not helpful at all. If that happens, we will immediately give you double your deposit back right there on the spot. So clearly, you have nothing to lose by having us create your dynamic asset allocation plan and customized investment blueprint for you. Like I mentioned earlier, this is time sensitive and granted at a first come first served basis. We are very proud of this free service and we are confident that you will find this special blueprint session very insightful and valuable for your financial growth. So go ahead and click the link below to get started now. I look forward to seeing you in person.